What an exciting day for us to be talking. I guess the whole launch date got moved up a little bit. Were you surprised by how timely it is?
Yes and no. We knew it was going to be before Super Bowl, and this is just the world we live in, right? You always have to be ready to move things up or back based on when the regulators say you're ready to go. So we couldn't be more delighted that we're launching this weekend. It gives sports fans, in particular NFL fans, an opportunity to bet in that last regular season, and then they'll get to enjoy all of the playoffs in the Super Bowl. So we think it's perfect timing.
You already have been so successful across the river in New Jersey. The estimate that we're getting is that roughly 20% of bets in New Jersey come from New Yorkers. How much do you think this online launch in New York is going to cannibalize your New Jersey business?
Well, listen, I think the fact that you have that many New York bettors that have been engaging in New Jersey is just, to me, that's a sign that the New York consumer has been anxiously awaiting this. But even in New Jersey, we still have a tremendous amount of headway. If you look at the New Jersey population relative to some of the more mature markets like the UK and Ireland, there's still a lot of room to grow. I think for us, we're excited because we have the number one position in those Northeast markets. We've been in New Jersey and Pennsylvania for a few years, and we've been the leader for a long time. So now to have those two states, Connecticut came online last year and we've established a leading position. So now with New York, we're going to have a really great presence in all of the Northeast. So really excited.
A lot of attention gets spent by the financial analysts about promotional spend and marketing spend and this path to profitability. How do you balance where you want to be with profitability with the fact that these are nascent markets, that there's an amount of consumer education that has to happen, and in many places you're going into a crowded field and trying to elbow out the competition?
Well, we certainly know that being first to market is really critical, right? And we are certainly, as you see with many e-commerce companies, it's that the race in the early days to make sure you can acquire customers onto your platform as quickly as possible. What I would say is, we have the benefit of having one of the most iconic and recognized brands, certainly in sports betting, but I would argue in all of sports and entertainment. So we already have that advantage. And I think one of the big differences around FanDuel relative to, I would say, the rest of the field is we have been one of the more efficient operators, right? If you look at the way we've been deploying our dollars and our customer acquisition costs relative to the value of the customer, we obsess about that. And we want to make sure that we're reaching the broadest and the right audience, but we're doing that in a fiscally responsible way. And we continue to do that in New York as well.
How much of that is inherited from your parent company, Flutter? Because Flutter is one of the main picks. We just got a note from Wells Fargo today that it's a main pick for 2022. Yep. How much of that is inherited from what Flutter has learned operating in Europe and elsewhere?
A lot of it. I mean, I think there's a few things that we've really gotten from Flutter. One is certainly that discipline around how you responsibly grow a market. But probably the most important thing we've gotten from them is our product advantage. We are on Flutter's global betting platform, which has really given us an opportunity to be in control of our own destiny. And if you look at our products, like our same game parlay product, we just introduced same game parlay plus this year. A lot of that comes from the advantages of being on that Flutter platform. So there's tremendous advantages that we have of being part of the largest global gaming operator.
And then when you're sort of gaming out how other markets come online, I know that there's this big lust for the other super states, for Florida, which I don't know if you want to tell me how you think things are shaping up for the potential in Florida, for California, for Texas. How much do you have to sort of set aside this goal for profitability if you're going to open these big new states and costs associated with launching in a new state?
It's a great question. So let me just contextualize it first by saying with New York now online, over a third of the US is in states where sports betting has been legalized, right? Which is a big number and a big change even in a year or two. But you're right, the big states like California, Florida, and Texas have not come online. To answer your question, we are working hard to get the appropriate signatures from consumers. And in California and in Florida in particular, we'll let the consumer decide if there's enough excitement to be there. We're certainly hopeful and cautiously optimistic that we can do that. But listen, on the profitability question, I think we've been very clear that it's less of a target and it's really more of a function of how the business works, right? So over time, as you have a bigger installed base, you're able to invest less in bringing new customers online, and those customers are effectively an annuity for you. So if some of those big states like California or Florida were to come online earlier, it may delay that profitability curve, but for good reason, right? Because you're opening up a huge addressable market that we don't have. So we can't control the timing, but what we can control is making sure that we're growing responsibly, and especially for those existing states, which we obsess about, are we on a path to profitability? And we feel very good about that.
What's the thing you're looking forward to most with the launch in New York?
Well, we think this is a really historic moment, and we think it's a historic moment for the state. We think it's a historic moment for FanDuel, and we're headquartered in New York. For me personally, I'm a native Buffalo, New Yorker. And so I am so excited to bring, we know that demand has been there for a really long time. And so I am so excited to bring a product that is world-class to a market and a consumer base that not only means a lot to our company and the state of the industry, but to me personally. As you know, the New York sports fans are some of the most passionate, loyal, avid fans in the world. So we're really excited to see them engage with the product. And we know that it just elevates the live sporting experience. So to watch that in the Empire State is really exciting.